the Chi-Town experience on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the like.
Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears could save almost $24 million in cap space this offseason by just making these simple moves. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. So, Bears fans, I was looking over the Chicago Bears cap space, and it currently sits at $62.98 million going into the offseason, which is still one among the most in the National Football League. I believe, according to Spot Track, it puts him at around, 5th or 6th in the National Football League going into this offseason. So Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears have a whole lot of flexibility to make some big roster moves in 2025. And as we all know, Ryan Poles has a lot of work to do, especially adding to the offensive line when you look at the interior with names like Trey Smith or Drew Dalman, etc. And of course, the defensive line as well with names like Josh Sweat, Chase Young, maybe even a Khalil Mack reunion. He has a lot of flexibility to really round out this roster as Ryan Poles with new coach Ben Johnson hope to bring back the Bears into being relevant in the National Football League. But Ryan Poles has the opportunity to actually increase the Bears cap space with these 4 simple roster moves. So what I'm going to do on today's episode of Keek on the Mic is give you the 4 moves I would love to see Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears make to increase their cap situation and give them even more flexibility to make some even more big moves going into this year's offseason. And as always, as I'm going through the 4 different moves that I want Ryan Poles and the Bears to make sure you guys interact with me, comment down below in the comment section, and let me know what the moves you guys would make if you were in General Manager Ryan Poles' shoes. First and foremost, the first move I would like to see Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears make is actually cutting Demarcus Walker, and it would save the Bears $5.25 million in cap space. And look at Bears fans, I absolutely love Demarcus Walker. He is 30 years old, and it's in the final year of his deal. And he has been really good for the Chicago Bears defense. In 34 games, he has 77 total tackles, 32 quarterback hits, 16 tackles for loss, and 7 sacks. He has also brought so much great energy and leadership to this Chicago Bears defense. He is, the vocal leader of the Chicago Bears defense. So obviously losing a guy like that would probably hurt the Bears defense a little bit. But what I'm looking at is that he's 30 years old in the final year of his contract, and you can save $5.25 million in salary cap space, right? And probably get a guy that is better and younger than Demarcus Walker, right? This is a guy, when you're looking at him, that he's replaceable, right? And I think there's going to be a lot of Bears fans on today's episode of Keek on the Mic saying, hey, just go ahead and keep Demarcus Walker, which he could be a huge benefit under Dennis Allen's defense here in Chicago. But I think Ryan Poles is going to be looking at the age, him in the final year of his contract, and you have to think, are we willing to extend Demarcus Walker, or should we just save that $2.5 million in cap space and find a replacement for a guy like Demarcus Walker? So that would be the first move I would make if I was the Bears GM, to save $5.25 million in cap space. Would you guys be willing to cut Demarcus Walker? Let me know down below in the comment section. The second move I would make if I was General Manager Ryan Poles is cutting tight end Gerald Everett. It would save the Bears $5.5 million in cap space. And look, Bears fans, I was really excited when Ryan Poles and the Bears signed Gerald Everett last offseason, but the Bears never utilized him. And the same situation with Demarcus Walker, maybe with Ben Johnson in the fold, maybe he comes in here and says, hey, I can actually utilize Gerald Everett to his full potential, and he can be a huge asset to Caleb Williams in the Chicago Bears offense. But once again, same situation with Demarcus Walker. He is 30 years old. He's going to be in the last year of his contract. When you look at 2024, he only had 12 targets for 8 receptions and 36 yards and 0 touchdowns. So maybe Ben Johnson comes into the fold today. I can utilize Gerald Everett in a different level and pair him with, really utilize him with Cole Kmet. But I'm looking at 30 years old, last year of his contract, wasn't really productive, even though he wasn't really utilized right. And you can save $5.5 million in cap space to increase your cap situation and find a replacement and in terms of adding a tight end next to Cole Kmet. So that would be the next cut I would make if I was the Chicago Bears GM. Bears fans, would you guys be okay with cutting tight end Gerald Everett and saving $5.5 million in cap space? Let me know down below in the comment section. The third cut I would make if I was GM Ryan Poles is cutting guard Ryan Bates, and it would save the Bears $4 million in cap space. When you look at Ryan Bates, he is only 27 years old and was really one of Ryan Poles' biggest offseason additions in terms of adding to the offensive line. The problem is that Ryan Bates just could not stay healthy for the Bears this season. He only appeared in 3 games in 2024 due to concussions and shoulder injuries. And, when you look at Ryan Bates, I understand what Ryan Poles was thinking about when he added Ryan Bates for only, a 5th round pick in this year's NFL draft. This is a guy that has positional flexibility and experience playing at multiple different positions across the offensive line. So I can see the Bears possibly keeping him as a depth piece and maybe competing possibly for a starting job on this Bears offensive line this season. But we have to rehaul this offensive line, not only with quality starters and guys that can stay healthy and be available, but also quality depth pieces as well. So if the Bears are willing to take that risk and say, hey, maybe if he's not injured, he can be a quality asset to this Bears offensive line, I can see Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson giving him one more chance. But for the purpose of today's video, I opted to cut Ryan Bates and save the $4 million. So Bears fans, would you like to see the Bears cut Ryan Bates and save that $4 million in cap space? Let me know down below in the comment section. The very last move I would make if I was general manager Ryan Poles is reach out to Tremaine Edmunds' agent and restructure his contract. There's ways you can restructure his contract and probably save around $9 million in cap space. And I know Tremaine Edmunds has been kind of like the talk of the town, right? There's been a lot of Bears fans saying we should cut him. There's been a lot of Bears fans saying that we should trade him. But here's the thing. Tremaine Edmunds is only 26 years old. I still think that is young enough to not give up on a guy. He signed a massive 4-year, $72 million contract 2 years ago, and his career with the Bears so far has been shaky, up and down, but he's had back-to-back 100 tackle seasons, 5 interceptions in 2 seasons here in Chicago. And even though his play has been up and down, I think the big thing for Tremaine Edmunds is in coverage, where he's allowed a passer rating of 92.9 in 2024 and a coverage grade, according to PFF, of a 56.3. So that's definitely something that Tremaine Edmunds has to improve on. And I hear all the concerns about Tremaine Edmunds, right? About how, he hasn't lived up to his contract, and rightfully so. 4 years, $72 million with $50 million guaranteed. You expect better numbers from a guy like Tremaine Edmunds. And currently, a guy like TJ Edwards that is getting paid far less than Tremaine Edmunds is outplaying him by a far mile, right? So it's one of those things that I hear the Bears fans' concerns. But let me tell you something. Cutting him would be stupid. The Bears would take on a whole bunch of dead cap money, and then trading him, no one's going to take on that massive contract. If they were able to find a trade partner, and it would have to be, I believe, a post-June 1st trade, they would receive $12 million in cap space by trading him, but no one's going to take on this massive contract. So I think the best case scenario for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears is saying, hey, he's still only 26 years old. There's a lot of hope that Dennis Allen and his aggressive approach in calling a defense can really help Tremaine Edmunds, elevate his game a little bit, especially when you're thinking about how he's a freak athlete, and Dennis Allen's going to really utilize his length as well, and probably bring him on a whole bunch of linebacker blitzes as well. I think Dennis Allen's going to be very good for Tremaine Edmunds. So I think the best case scenario for the Bears and Ryan Poles is reaching out to Tremaine Edmunds and be like, hey, are you willing to restructure your contract? Hopefully Tremaine Edmunds is a team player, because it could possibly save the Bears $9 million. So personally, that's what I would do if I was GM Ryan Poles. So Bears fans, let me know what you would do if you're Ryan Poles in regard to the Tremaine Edmunds situation. Do you think the Chicago Bears should cut him, trade him, or you think it's a good idea just to ask him to restructure the contract and possibly save around $9 to $10 million in cap space to go towards this offseason? So let me know down below in the comment section, Bears fans, what you're thinking about that. But after these 4 moves, the Bears could save $23.75 million in cap space, almost $24 million in cap space, and that would then put them at $86.73 million for the offseason, and giving Ryan Poles even more flexibility to make some really big moves and fill out this Chicago Bears roster. So if you want Trey Smith, Drew Dahlman, and Josh Sweat, you would now probably be able to land all of those guys without stressing about money, right? $86 million to spend in cap space would be absolutely huge for the Chicago Bears, and having an extra $24 million at your disposal can land you some pretty big fish in terms of free agency, but also land some quality role players as well and depth pieces to really fill out this Chicago Bears roster. So as always, Bears fans, let me know what you think about the moves that I made if I was in General Manager Ryan Poles' shoes, and let me know the moves that you would like to see the Chicago Bears make in order to possibly gain some more cap space going into this offseason. We are less than a month away until the offseason starts and the new league year and free agency starts, and I'm pretty sure Ryan Poles has some trick up his sleeve. I also do want to announce to you guys that there's kind of some big updates on both Ian Cunningham and Keenan Allen as well. There's rumors going around saying that, Ian Cunningham, the current Chicago Bears assistant GM, is interviewing for the Jaguars job on Friday to become their new general manager. But now it seems that the rumors going around saying that the Bears are going to be able to retain Ian Cunningham, which to me, I was looking forward to those 2 third-round picks, one this year and one next year. But I know that's Ryan Poles' right-hand man. I know Ian Cunningham is probably wanting to see this process through with the Chicago Bears because they've been building everything together here in Chicago. And to me, I think it's, a good thing for Ian Cunningham. I know he wants to be a general manager, but Jacksonville just looks like a crapshoot right now. That would be a very interesting situation that Ian Cunningham is going into, right? They hired the head coach before they hired the general manager, something that the Chicago Bears basically did here before. So I'm pretty sure Ian Cunningham is kind of like a blessing in disguise, but the rumor right now is that the Bears are going to be able to retain Ian Cunningham as assistant general manager for the Chicago Bears. And then, of course, in terms of Keenan Allen, he's made it known once again that he is willing to either stay in Chicago or he's willing to go back to Los Angeles. But it's one of those things that I'm okay with Keenan Allen coming back, but it has to be on a veteran discount. I know there's a lot of people saying that, we should just let him walk. You can't underestimate the connection, especially at the end of the season, that Keenan Allen made with Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams even made it noted that, hey, Keenan Allen's one of the best players I've ever played with, right? So I think Keenan Allen could still be a huge asset. I still think he has some good football ahead of him, even though at his age. But it has to be at a veteran discount. You're not getting no $17 million a year. He's got to come down to hopefully like $10 to $12 million per year to come back to Chicago. So maybe they get things worked out. But it's good to hear that Keenan Allen's probably coming around with the idea that he's probably got to take a discount to come back to Chicago or even go back to the Los Angeles Chargers, right? So would you guys want Keenan Allen back? And how do you guys feel about the Ian Cunningham rumors as well? Let me know down below in the comment section. But as always, Bears fans, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. And make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for all new Bears podcasts right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys. And as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic.